So 2011 Mini Cooper Countryman. So you go to start the car, and on the dash you get the red battery symbol, which is indicating something with the charging system. That is either because the battery is way too low to start the car, or the alternator is not charging the battery. Whichever the case may be, the first diagnosis is we're going to find out what level of charge is on the battery. So I bring up my reliable Fluke meter here set on DC voltage, and we're going to look at the current state of this battery. State of charge with one hand here. I'm going to transfer this to that. The BMW battery, which just might be the original battery that came with the car. State of charge is 3.8 volts. I can't show you that on the meter because I have both of my hands stuck on the terminals. So 3.8 is not enough to maintain the charge on the car, to maintain the car running even with the alternator being good. Of course, if you jump this car and take the jumper off, it'll come off right away. So the first thing we're going to do is going to test this battery to see if it's rechargeable. I doubt it. And in that case, we will replace this battery and then test to see if the battery is discharging once it starts the car. So to remove the battery, you would see a lot of resources out there. We need to take the bolts that are holding this panel in. This panel in here, there's 1, 2, and there's a third bolt somewhere here, I believe, that's holding it, but we'll get to it. We're going to remove that. Before that, we'll remove the windshield wiper so that we can remove this entire thing here. That way we can access the battery. So let's do that. So 10 millimeter bolt here. First one out. So bring out the ratchet. 15 millimeter socket here. So okay, let's get this guy out. Alright, so whatever the tool you're using to remove this, key reminder there to not damage the windshield. Alright, so we're going to, there's a groove on the indentation on where this windshield wiper goes in. We want to make sure that we do not damage it, so we're going to wiggle this out one-handed. So wiggle until loose and pull out. Hopefully we haven't done enough damage here for it to not work. So continuing on, this piece right here comes out and reveals this last 10 millimeter bolt there that needs to come off. Power tool, out we go, and take that guy off, set it aside. So now that we have this revealed, we can now lift up on this and pull it off from under here. Now be careful not to damage the tabs, these tabs that are under holding it, if you can see that. So we want to try as gentle as we can not to damage it. If you have a tool, you can use a tool to pry it up, but gentle wiggle. Okay, wiggle that out and put that aside. Now we have access to the terminals of the battery. So 10 millimeter screwdriver gets this off. Just pull that all the way up and set that aside. Technicians will know that negative batteries terminal comes off first. In this case, doesn't really matter. Do we have IBS, the intelligent battery system on this? It looks like no. BMW usually put the intelligent battery system on here, and there's a big huge block that goes over the battery. I do not think that that is the case with this one. We don't need to put a tenderizer on the terminals while we are taking this off, because this car is dead anyways. There is no memories to be saved on the radios or anything. Either way, we'll take the battery off. 10 millimeter. So pardon the wiggle and pardon all the noise in the background. I'm doing this in near a daycare early in the morning, and the kids have just been dropped off after a high sugar fructose breakfast. All right, and then we take the vent hose here, we remove that, just pull that up, set that aside, and we can grab this battery and take it out. So part number right there, it's a 570 crank amp. If we can get something 570 or higher, an H7 or even an H8, if you can see there's some space there, so a battery that's wider than this, like an H8, might still fit in here with the little wiggle room space that we have.